Hello world, how's it going? I'm your host LR Brett, and today I'm going to share with you my fish room, my fish house, my gallery, whatever you want to call it. I have a lot of tanks, a lot of them, most of them, all are planted, and I really have collectoritis, really bad. So I have a lot of rarities, and a big reason why I wanted to make this video, I'm still kind of a wreck. I've been doing water changes all day. It's late at night. I'm about to do a lot of reorganization in the fish room. A lot of things are going to change fast now that I'm pretty much done with building pretty much most all of it to where I want to be right now. I wanted to kind of show you guys what it looks like right now, and then we could reflect back on to it in the future. And there's also a couple tours out. The last time I've done a tour was actually in 2016, I believe. It was like when I first started doing YouTube, and I haven't done a tour since myself. A few people have come out. Now I'm going to do this kind of as quick as I can possibly. Like I do a This Old Tank every Thursday. I call them TOTs, where I get more in depth on each individual tank. Like do complete overview of the actual tank and setup. But I'm just going to kind of hit key points, throw some tidbits and tips and tricks out there as much as I can for you, and just share what's going on in the fish room right now. And for you viewers, I would like to know, like, I have a lot of content I could create from this fish room. Like, content's not the problem. But I want to know what you guys would like to see. Do you guys want to see like species profiles, more of This Old Tanks, breeding, maintenance, fish room to-dos, I mean tip trick? But if you can, give me a little comment down below. Let me know what you would like to see. That way I could kind of gauge what you guys want to watch, because to me, I don't know, there's a lot I could do, there's a lot I could show. What may be cool to me may not be cool to you guys, and well, you guys are the one watching, and it's your time. And I appreciate you guys watching too. And if you haven't already, I'm on Instagram, and I have a Patreon account where I have a lot more extra behind the scene footage. And my Patreons actually get first dibs on my items, because since everything that I make is homegrown, homebred, nothing's imported or anything like that, it takes time to replenish stocks, and the stuff sells out quick. And I'm constantly getting bombarded with questions about, hey, why is this out of stock? Why is this out of stock? It's just, it takes time to grow. I can't miracle grow the fish and the shrimp. Now I do the plants a little bit. I don't miracle grow them, but I fertilize them and feed them. But I still can only grow those so fast because I have to manage my time with all these tanks. But anyways, now my fish room is more of like a laboratory to me. And I'm always doing projects and always testing stuff and doing little experiments around it. So if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, and how I'm doing these breeding projects, I do events and all kinds of other stuff whenever I get the time. But I do a video every Tuesday, Thursday, live stream on Friday, 9:30 Eastern Time PM, and also a Sunday video. And if you guys want to stay caught up or up to date, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. And I'll give you a second. There you go. Hit that subscribe button, that notification button. Yeah, that one down there. Because many of you guys have been watching, but you ain't been subbing. Help a brother out. And that should help keep you in the loop. Now, some of these tanks or sections haven't had a water change for a few days. So it's not like a fish room tour most people would do, where they just did all their water changes right away. It's all looking crystally clean. I have dirty tanks. I have clean tanks. And they're all natural. I hardly use any filtration. Most of it's pretty much all sponge filtration, or there's a power head in there moving some water around. So now, since before I get into the next phase of this fish room and level it up, which I've got all this eco complete right here to do so, because I got a lot of tanks ready and a lot of them that I want to upgrade and stuff like that. I think there's like 50 some plus bags there. Probably gonna need more, but substrate's important. But anyways, let's get to this fish room tour. We're gonna start with the main office, and we'll move into the main fish room. Then we'll move into the guest bedroom section. Then we'll move in probably to the utility section. Then we'll probably move into the garage section, upstairs section, and then outside. So maybe there's more than 5 sections. 7 sections. I guess I've added more than I thought. Alright, so here we are in the main office section. And over here, we'll go ahead and start with this tank. This has actually got a bunch of female endlers that have been in there for almost 4 or 5 months, being cleared out from any fry. And I haven't seen any fry in here for probably about a couple weeks, so that's good. I'll probably give it another couple weeks before I use them for projects. Now I do hang and suspend a lot of my lights just to kind of get them off these shallow tanks. It helps with algae, especially hair algae. So I will get quite a bit of glare on some of these tanks here and there. I probably shouldn't have mentioned it because now you guys will probably notice it more. But anyways, forget about that. And here are the males that I have that are going to be for these lovely ladies to the side. So I have lots of varieties, and what has really gotten me into this, like I really love these endlers too because they're great for planted aquariums, especially stem type plants and rooted. But I've actually created my own line of endler as well, called a rainbow tiger endler, and I never thought it would ever be a thing. But somehow it caught fire. A lot of people love them, and I've been selling them for a long time, and it's really fun to play with, like creating new types. It does take a lot of work and a lot of time, but with shrimp and endlers, it's kind of like shrimp. I do the same with shrimp. Many people know me for my shrimp. I have 4 international awards for them, and you can create all kinds. I've created all kinds of different types of shrimp. I just haven't had time for it, but now everything's more organized. I'm going to have more time for it. And this tank actually has some shrimp in it, some wild ones, and these are just like the fry I was getting from the females. It's a cube tank I had from an aquascaping contest at Aquatic Experience in 2016. And over here, I have my baby. This is my rare rainbow fish collection of some of my rare rainbow fish. It's not all of them, but it's a good portion of like the first ones I was getting that were really rare and have really good lineage. Huge crip is actually red metallic crip, a Phoenix. But I love this tank. This is definitely one of my favorites. We got double eye snapper creek. I'm still a little stuffy. I'm getting over a cold. Upper Tor River. It's another snapper creek. Let's see, that's a Van Herenai. A Dora TI is the red one. Let's see, where's the goldie-eyed Kais? They must be hiding over here in the corner. They're not showing their color. They're showing it a little bit. But it's crazy. Rainbow fish, these fish will look different all the time. Like in the morning, they're really bright. But it's late at night. They're actually up past their bedtime because I've been doing water changes. Need to get a video for you guys. And yeah, I decided to do this because it really needs to be done before I make more progress. But there's that. That's a 125 long. Definitely my baby. And here I've got a huge rack. These are all 10 gallons. 20, 10, 20s, 20s, 10, and a 20. And a 75 down here. And then this 75, I have some tuxedo pastel or half black, half white pastels, whatever you want to call them. I heard of like 3 different names for them. But I'm really loving them. They're probably one of my favorite guppies right now. Got Hygrophila augustifolia over here. It's still got room to grow out. I recently kind of redid this as far as cleaning it out. But even the females have white tails, which is really cool. I can't wait till that fills out with guppies. And then in this tank, I have a bunch of different Riley types, mostly aimed towards the blue and red Riley, which you can see some blue dreams come out of it because they actually, a lot of them derived from a blue dream line. After I corrected it, this is where I used to throw them. There's a nice one on the glass. And as I mentioned too, if you want more in depth on like the plants, you can always ask me in the questions or comments. I'm pretty good at answering comments and looking at them all. But I do get more in depth on tanks with This Old Tanks TOTs, where I talk about everything in them. But this is a line of Blue Dreams. This is my Blue Dream B-Team, but still Supreme, which the line is pretty solid, as you can see. It still throws a little something wonky every now and then. It's probably about 85% to 90%. But I have a better line, so I still have to call them B-Team. But those are still better than what you will get from importers or elsewhere. And my other line, I'll show you guys those here in a little bit. And here I've got some lime green endlers. They look pretty good. I like them. Wish there was more in there. Kind of surprised there's not. And then this one's just kind of a hodgepodge that I throw just wild shrimp in. There's a tiger right there. And then here is another blue-red line I've kind of been working on. You can see that one's much more deeper blue and red. Huge turd. You guys didn't see that though, poor shrimp. Putting them on the spot. Oh, there's another nice one floating in the water. Blue and red Riley. I wish these would breed out more. Now I've got my hard water system. Like, I had a lot of issues with my city tap water, but I'm making another video for that for you guys. About my water change system, and those who follow me know what I'm talking about. Those that don't, I'm rebounding right now from that city tap water. And then here's some more B-Team Blue Dream but Supremes. And that does it for that row. And then we move up here, and I have some Tangerine Tigers in this 20 long. There's one down there. You can see a couple eating a granule back behind that driftwood. Kind of hard to see. Driftwood's manzanita. And you may see these plastic lids in some of my tanks. Pretty much all my tanks. I use them to keep splatter down so it doesn't get all over the rim and make a mess and get in between the cracks. Because if it gets in between the cracks, and these are all wood racks, it can cause some issues. So I have that deflect air bubbles. And this is how I get my water in. That's what those stainless steel mesh intakes are. Here's some of my Rainbow Tiger endlers. My high grade ones that I'm really trying to work out. Like, these are how they normally are. Kind of like that, and they come in different colors. See how that one has like a yellow and orange kind of tail? This one's more like blue and red. That's why they're called Rainbow Tiger endlers. They're a cross between Starburst endlers and Yellow Jackets. But I've been trying to breed for this, but it's really hard to get the suited color in it. Then over here, I have some fire red cherry shrimp, Neocaridinias. And they're getting pretty plentiful in there. Some willow moss. And here I have some crystal reds. And a lot of these tanks will probably actually end up changing a bit because I'm reorganizing shrimp. I'm going to be reorganizing endlers and guppies. Now, there's not a whole lot in this tank yet. This one's kind of open still. I'm gonna have to get a ladder for up here. Now on the top rack of this big rack, here I've got some rainbow snakeskin endlers. Which I got these from somebody else. They had created a rainbow snakeskin endler, which I thought was neat because I had the rainbow tiger endler. There's actually another rainbow type that I'm wanting to create. I just got to get to it and get the time to do it. And waiting on them females. Then another line of the rainbow snakeskin. Kind of hard to see the male from here, but they are pretty cool. And I've actually got some select ones that I'll show you in the main fish room that I've been trying to breed that these guys have popped out. I have like a pink endler, like a pinkish, purplish kind of endler. It's really wild. And then this one's empty and it's open. And then this 10-gallon actually is holding some dwarf neons that have the xanthic form for dwarf neons, which xanthic form is like a golden kind of tone and color to them. You see this female, she has it, this guy has it, but the genetics are kind of rough when they come out. So I haven't really bred it much, but it is a cool mutation. Then over here I have some blue leopard. What is that guy? They must have threw something else. He's neat though, check him out, a little blue orange tail. Same with that guy, a little split tail in there. And some of these endlers I don't sell, like these I've never sold because they don't really breed true. I don't know what to do with them. They are neat, blue leopards. They have big fantails. And this is my shipping section over here. Might as well just mention that. And on the other side of this rack I have a bunch of 10s and then another 75. And this 75 is one of my favorites as well. It has a whole bunch of Synodontis lucipennis catfish in it. And they remind me of little sharks. And I've actually got as many as I have down here upstairs waiting to come in here. So I'm going to have that. I'm going to have twice as many in here probably by tomorrow. But you guys will see those later on as well. They're very cool cat. And then in here on the next row up I have a couple mystery fish that got into the barrel and I had to save them and I didn't know what they were, so I had to let them grow out. Same with here, same story. A lot of these tanks are gonna actually end up turning into Caradinia tanks over on this side once I get it all organized. And over here are some wild endler types that were thrown from my purple Moscow guppies. So they're kind of like the blue leopard endlers, and then they threw like this other funky like pastel color type. So it's kind of hard to see it through this phone. It's not really silvery, but it's more blue in real life. And then this tank's getting seasoned up for some Caradinia. Then I had a busted tank here, sprung a leak on me. And here I have some juvenile and some young, which looks like I'm going to have to start moving some of these. They've gotten pretty big fast. I'm doing my water changes more, but these are Pingu guppies. So I'm going to show you more of these and their parents up on the top of this rack. And up here, I actually have some pandas, some Caradinia shadow pandas. You can see its tail barely. There's one, and underneath this leaf's another one. Kind of hidden in there with the Malaysian driftwood and then the leaf litter. I'm really liking the leaf litter, especially with the Caradinia types. The Neos like it too, and that's guppy grass. This is pearlweed. It's one of my favorites as well. Also more panda Caradinias. There's actually a little baby fry fish in here too, a little baby upper Tor River rainbow fish. That's some fertilizer I just rubbed away there. So I make my own fertilizer from powder form and then just make my own solution. And then here I have some dwarf neon rainbow fish. These are one of my all-time favorites. I've bred thousands of them. I don't think I'll ever get tired of them. And they're accompanied with some snowball shrimp. Thought that was one, but that's just a molt. There's one back there, one on the rock. There's one right there. Oh, there's another one. Again, the leaf litter. Have to get a ladder again. And up here is the parents to the pingu guppies that were down there. So check them out. Like, these things are awesome. The females have a little color on them, but man, those males, they're pretty sweet. And this is actually Bacopa that came out of my little terrarium I got in the garage. You guys will see that later on as well. And then there was some plant. I could have swore I got this from my backyard, but it's grown in the water as well. It hitched onto the Bacopa. So, kind of weird. I don't know what that is. Anybody know what this plant is? Right here. See how long that lasts. It's been in there for a few weeks. And then over here next to them, I got more pingu guppies because I really love these guppies. And I just wanted a ton of them, so I was like, screw it, I'm just going to spread them all over the place until I get something else to take up their tanks. Eventually I won't have this many because the collectoritis is always kicking in. So on this side again, more of them. And then some moss. And I used to have a tank over here, but it was actually my this old tank. I talked about it and it sprung a leak on me and I had to remove it and move it elsewhere. Alright, so that does it for the main office area. And now we're going to move into the main fish room here. So this is the fish room that kind of started it all. I originally started with like 14 tanks and like this was the only rack. This rack's actually built on top. Like this was a rack and then I just built up on it. Just because the collectoritis started kicking in and I wanted to live my dreams, and that's what I'm trying to do. Is live my dreams. Here's a quick overview of it. So you can see there's lots of tanks, lots of stuff going on. Some shag carpet, like grass, gives it more of a natural feel. Well, we'll go ahead and start with this rack of 20s right here. On the bottom, I have a line of shrimp I've been working on. I call them dreamsicles because they kind of get a white in them. You can see there, they're like orange and white. A few of them are hiding. I have some that even have red spots on them. But this tank, this whole rack, it's going to get rehauled. Like the mosses, or the algae in the moss is cool. But I do want to add more substrate and kind of do it more. And if you see my pump, that's for a water system that I was working on. But I don't quite do it now. I am planning on maybe putting more time into these guys later down the road. And then up here is a bunch of algae with a line of yellows that throw green. Looks like that's a yellow Riley right there. Kind of hard to tell with the green against it. But greens can derive from either yellow or orange. And this was a line of them. There's kind of like a faint one that has a little green on its back. It's really hard to capture the green jade shrimp because they just hide so well. It's hard to see them, and the trueness of them is just not there. Then up here I have a line of the lime green endlers. Another tank of those. It's just overflooding. They grow this guppy grass like crazy because the endlers actually produce a lot of CO2 naturally. They'll breathe in the oxygen and breathe out the CO2. That's what makes them really great for plants. And a big reason why I like keeping endlers and guppies. Then up here I have some scarlet chili endlers. That's what they're supposed to be, but they're throwing some funky stuff. Like this guy's cool. That's like that pinkish purplish one, and these guys have been throwing it as well. And I think I got these from live fins, and I don't know if he just keeps them all together and he just kind of, or he threw some hit females in with the colony, or what's going on. But I've talked to many people, and they don't have true lines of chili reds or scarlets either. Man, look at this one. This is like a white one. Check that guy out. See, to try to capture that would be awesome. Have like purebred of those. Bunch of white endlers. Be nice. And here I write on with red marker, kind of like what my plans are. So this needs more straight. Probably going to do like Buches and Anubias, and I've got some rare crisps, some Monte Carlo and stuff. And like this one down here, I want to do it with its more red and darker plants. Kind of give it a different contrast, especially with the lime green fish. And up here I have a breeding group of Pseudomugil aru rainbow fish. These guys are really cool. And I'm actually keeping them with a bunch of blue dreams that I tried to mix with blue velvets, but I didn't get a whole lot out of it. And man, look at that one back there. Like, the blue is actually on its shell more than it is in its body. Rarely do you see a blue dream like that. That one's a beaut. That one's so dark it's almost black. But you can see through here, there's a bunch of them. There's a blue pearl. And over here on this rack, I have a whole bunch of tins. That's a 40, that's a 40, and this is a 75. And down in this 40, where it looks like there's just like a disaster that happened, well, there was a while back when I was having problems with my water, city water. I ended up having to revert all my tanks to soft water, and my crypts did not do too well. This was actually Heuterite crypt that just busted up out of this tank, and it'll regrow. It'll just take time to bounce back. But this actually has, see, there's a blue red Riley, there's a red shrimp. This is going to be my new Skittle mix tank. There's a blue velvet. I've got blue pearls in here, blue dreams in here. I've got some wild genetics. I've got some of them orange dreamsicle genetics. I've got a bunch of like yellow Rileys in here, a bunch of different type Rileys, all kinds of hodgepodge of shrimp. And I'll probably end up putting rocks here just so they can have more surface area and create more of a nursery, because they just love that. And also up top, there's a whole bunch of turquoise baby rainbow fish that I got from my 125 that's upstairs. And up here, this tank, these poor fish. I bought some Golden Wonders from Petco, and I wanted to breed them out. Same with these Penchex killifish. And Golden Wonders are one of my favorite killifish. I wish I could find some really good genes of these to breed out. But you can just see how bad the genes were when I bred them out. So I never bred them again. And it kind of weirded me out after I raised these guys up. Like, I don't really need to be doing that. They are beautiful fish when they look normal. But I keep them. It's hard for me to just kill them because they're happy. Like, they're not suffering. They're not hurting. They're just different. So I do still keep them. But I'll probably end up doing something different with this tank. I may move them on into another tank. Not sure which one yet. And in the 75, I have a bunch more Pingu guppies. You can see this thing's just loading up with them. So you can say I'm hoarding Pingu guppies quite a bit right now. And up top here, in this 10-gallon, I have some snowball shrimp. That's a line of snowballs. Those things are constant eaters and crazy prolific breeders. They breed like crazy. In here I have a couple of random Maru males that I had in a tank and needed somewhere for them to grow up. I just need to move them out. And then a scarlet chili in there and a female in there somewhere that I've been working on their lines. I've been trying to straighten it out. This one's looking pretty good so far. But the one I just showed you in the other tank is supposed to be the next gen, hopefully. I'll start breeding a little truer. Then here I have a pure line of blue velvets. So they're nothing but blue velvets. They don't throw any blue dreams or anything like that. They're nothing weird. They're straight line blue velvet line, which is really rare to find. And some ginormous ram's horn snails. I'm definitely pro snail. And in here I have some Japanese blue endlers. Get this camera to focus. Thank you, camera. Appreciate that. These guys are cool. That blue. I'm probably going to breed out more of these guys. I have 2 tins of them right now. They've really grown on me. I'm a real sucker for blue and green type fish. Granted, don't get me wrong, I like my reds and yellows and oranges and everything else, but those seem to be the ones I'm attracted to most. But those are Japanese blue endlers, neon blue endlers. And in here we have some golden backs. It's supposed to be a golden back line, which it still is. It's just kind of hard to see the line on that one, and it's being worked. Golden back lines don't breed true. Haven't come across one yet. I've been working on it myself. And here's a bunch of blue star female endlers. And in this tank as well, more blue star female endlers. I was really heavy on blue star female endlers, and I kind of separated them because I didn't have many males, and hopefully they'll make some males for me. And they won't attack all the males I had, since they were just way outnumbered. And on this rack I have 3 40-gallon tanks. If you notice my hoses over here, I have certain hoses for each rack. So each rack has its own hose. I have my own systems. Like this whole fish rooms, it's been cleaned. I have a video called Nukes for Flukes where I went through and got rid of any bacterial or anything that was kind of bad, or anything that could have been bad, and treated the whole fish room. And now everything has like protocol, and I have a QT section, which I'll show you guys that later. So there's a lot of safety. I'm a hobbyist before a business, that's for sure. So keeping quality stuff and giving people quality stuff that's healthy and happy. But in here I have some yellow neocaridina, a whole bunch of Ratalia colorata, and some pearlweed. Which this pearlweed is bushing like crazy. You can see the yellow shrimp just flying around everywhere. Really don't know how many I have in there, but I've been kind of hoarding them too. And these guys are actually mixed with golden backs. Oh, look at that. Just caught you guys on camera doing it. It's a male and female, and with them being mixed, they'll throw some yellow Rileys. See if I can find one. Here's one that's flying towards us, that's got some Riley pattern on it. There's another one next to it. Which yellow Rileys are really rare. I've never seen them elsewhere. I really do like this tank. One of my faves. I don't do much with it. It's got the jungle scape going. I love the jungle scape myself. Now, could you guys imagine if I only had one tank to mess with, or just like 4 tanks, what I could do? I do have an aquascape tank upstairs, but I'll show you guys that later too. And then in here I've got some panda guppies, and my female's kind of been dominant. I've got a few males that I gotten from someone else to help kickstart them back. See how they're doing. Like, they got a ton of guppy grass, but for some reason they just have not been throwing anything out. I don't know what it is. But they went crazy once and now they're just not doing much. But that guppy grass sure is growing. And there's some rare crypts down there. I can't remember what those are though. Some type of nuri, I think. And up here on the top tank, I have some Rotalia colorata. This is a sick upper tor. Well, it's not sick anymore. It was actually starved. It's a female upper tor river rainbow fish. And she was with some just meanie. And he would not let her eat. And so I've kind of been nursing her back to health. And she's slowly coming around. Like, she was way worse. Like, she was on her deathbed. Luckily, I removed him and then found her like that. Because I know I didn't see her for quite a while. He was just keeping her from eating. And she came out looking all rough. But hopefully I can bounce her back. We'll see. Hopefully she's not too far gone. And then I have some golden backs in here as well. So you can see that one's super bright coming towards us. Oh, he's coming fast too. Heads up. Another one back there, super yellow. That one's not a golden back. Yeah, it does have a little stripe on it. Kind of hard to see through the camera sometimes. You can see they're kind of weaved into the plants here and there. And over on this side I have more 10 gallons. 14, a 16, and a 30. Well, 29. And down here I have Luigia arculata. And also a pair of koi guppies. Hoping they breed out. I had a bunch of them a while back, but I actually oversold them and then they just never bounced back. But in that tank, they should. Then in here I have some snowball shrimp. See one flying up there. Bunch of rocks so they can make a little nursery. And over here some more rainbow tiger endlers. See, they're all over the place. As well as some bronze crypt. This one's actually bouncing back from green water, so it's still a little cloudy. And up here in this 10 gallon, I have crystal red Caridina shrimp, which Caridinas are soft water shrimp. The Neo Caridinas are more hard water shrimp. Once again, rock pile, leaf litter, some subwasser thing. And over here I have a hodgepodge of endlers, which some of them are really cool. Especially like this dude. He's like a rainbow tiger endler on steroids. Then I've got some Lympnophilia aromatica and stuff I'm trying to grow out. I recently redid this tank. It's just got to grow out. With these endlers, it's going to take a little time because I grow my stuff slow, but with these guys it should help. Then floating pearlweed so Fry can have somewhere to hide and all that. It helps keep the algae down too, because if with this many plants I'd just be growing algae. So that kind of helps soak up all the extra nutrients. And in this tank, these guys are awesome. Like, I recently just got these. These are Galaxy Caridina shrimp. These things are freaking cool. Definitely one of my new favorites right now as far as shrimp in the fish room. And in this tank, it's really hard to get a good light in here on this one. It's just full of pilo moss. And it's actually got a bunch of baby arutus. You can kind of barely see one up above my finger there. There's a few of them in there. But this moss was great for spawning them. Then in here I have some crystal black shrimp. I'm not seeing any right now, but they hide in that subwasser tank and that leaf litter. And over here I have more of the pastel guppies. Pearlweed again, and then more pastel guppies, which I recently redid this tank and this tank. So I'm hoping this grows out. This is Carolina Bacopa. And I've actually got a hairgrass ebellum down here I'm going to try to mess with. I don't have a whole lot of ground cover plants because they just take more maintenance. And up here on the top rack, I have some black rose, which I haven't really been doing that well. I just recently got them. Looks like that one's getting the redhead kind of disease or bacterial infection. Not sure what to do for that. Don't really mess with diseases much on shrimp. But yeah, they're barely hanging on. So we'll see what happens with that tank. Then over here we have some wild black bar endlers. And then some more wild black bar endlers in this tank as well. And then we've got another busted tank. And over here is a selected endler. These came from the rainbow snake skins that had that little pinkish kind of color to them. You also see like this guy right here is like pink but tiger striped and has a lime yellow tail. I got a couple more of them in my male endler tank in the office section, and they're really cool. It would be awesome to line them up. And in here I have some orange neocaridina. For some reason they haven't been breeding too much in here. And yeah, there's just a few of them. So those waiting on my scriddle mixes, this is why my scriddle mixes haven't been out. It's because my oranges haven't been doing what they should be. But I've got a bunch of them outside, so hoping they're still out there. Here's some Dumbo mosaic guppies, which I've had for, I don't know, like 5-6 months, and they still have not bred for me. I have no idea why. Water conditions are good. I feed them well. And they've got a huge bronze crypt to lay fry in. And over here I have a crazy mixed neocaridina tank that I used to take a lot of my Blue Dream coals and some of my other coals from other tanks. I actually created purples and blue purple Rileys. You can kind of see it's like a purple male there. This is like a blue black carbon but really deep bodied amber kind of golden color. I got like throwback videos from like way back when before I got hit with that water change thing that shows a lot of these blue red Rileys. Or no, that one maybe, no, that one's red. That one's got a little purple to it, purple blue kind of like Riley. Alright, so that does it for the main fish room section, which this is kind of where it all originated out from and then just kind of spilled over. So let's move on to the guest section. Now here's the guest bedroom section, which I took the guest bed out. And there is room for growth. I'm kind of using it for a stock room right now, but once I work my way through all that stuff, who knows what I'm going to do with this space. But here's a huge 20 by 20 rack. And then more space over here to work with. And then I have another rack with 330s. So with these 330s, up top here I have some sea alani rainbow fish, which these are really awesome fish. They're pretty rare and they're definitely not easy to find. And there's also some blue dreams in here. I've been working with. I've been trying to capture like this real brilliant kind of blue like this one, but it's really hard to capture that because a lot of them want to go dark like that one back there on the rock. And that brings us to my A grade, my world's straightest line of Blue Dreams, which I still haven't had anybody contest me on that yet. Put it on a lot of social medias, and it's really hard to beat these shrimp. Like, it's crazy how straight these guys breed. They're pretty much like 95% plus. And as you can see, deep-bodied blue. And I like to keep them on the sand substrate because you can see them better. But look at all those babies. They're all solid blue. Not a hiccup in the line. And there's a lot of pilo moss in there as well. Oh, there's a really nice, brilliant, bright blue. So I was trying to capture that, where it's like a neon blue, but it's really hard to capture just that neon blue. And down here I have my line of fire red neocaridina shrimp. These things are hot. And this is the actual line, so a lot of the import shrimp you'll get, they won't breed like this because they haven't really been worked, but they're pulled out of a bunch of cherry shrimp. But this line has been worked and worked and worked and worked. You can see how well the line and lineage is actually breeding out. Once again, got the rock piles going on. There's not a whole lot of moss in there. They keep eating it all, but it's slowly growing back now. I'm on my first schedule again. And over here to the 20 by 20 rack. Down here I've got some panda guppies. This one's open, that one's open, that one's got some rainbow snake skins. This is probably going to get some cherry barbs in here and maybe more panda guppies, we'll see. Kind of hard to see the rainbow snake skins in these tanks. Like, these guys are way back there. And in this one's open, this one's open. I'm not sure what I'm going to put in here yet. May be another Endler or guppy type. And I have been putting red neocaridinas in here too. So I'm planning on doing different color shrimp on each level, but I'll probably still have fish with them. Here's like a lonely or ornate rainbow fish. I'm getting ready to give him some buddies. They're going to breed out in there for me so I can get some bat points for my club. And there you can see a fire red neocaridina just swimming about. And those are open. I'll probably put some kind of Endler or guppy in there. And once this guy gets done, I'll probably put more cherry barbs in there. And up top, I've got these leaf litter tanks that I've just started some tetra breeding. And I've got these bloodfin tetras over on this side, and then more bloodfin tetras on this side. Try to get breeding out, and I'm not sure what I'm going to put in the middle. I've got a few different other tetra types, we'll see there. And over here on this side I've got red eye tetras. Once again, lots of leaf litter, more like their biotope. Same with these guys are really cool. I really love these red eye tetras. They're definitely an underdog in the tetra world, and they school really well. I love how they swim too, real stealthy, kind of like the bloodfin. Then up here I've got a leaf litter tank, kind of same row that I had with these tetras that I just showed you. They just don't have anything in them yet, so they're waiting for what's in the QT section, the quarantine section. And that's a big reason why I'm doing this video, because I'm going to end up moving those fish more than likely either tomorrow or someday really soon. And I've got a lot that I've been moving and organizing. So that does it for the guest bedroom section. Now let's move on to the utility. Now here in my utility section, it's kind of tight quarters, but I could fit some tanks in it. It was storage, but now I made it for tanks. Because I got MTS really bad. 75 gallon, 40 gallon, 40 gallon, 40 gallon, 20, 40, 40, 20, 20, 75. And down here in this 75, we have a whole bunch of willow moss, whole bunch of blue dreams. And they're just littered everywhere in here. One of my ferts on the glass. It's just pack loaded with blue dreams and willow moss. Some bucephalandras and other plants as well. And over in this tank is some Hygrophila compacta. It's on the rebound, and some Melanitania picta rainbow fish, Aru 4s, which I can't wait till these get big. These guys are awesome. Absolutely awesome fish. And I did something a little different since I'm not using those power heads with my water change system. As far as the exit part, the outflow part, I actually am using it to mix up the water a little bit, and it's doing alright. It's kind of a test. I've never done it like that before, but looks like it's working well. And then here I have some fire reds, and this is actually a scud tank too. Which, if you don't know what gamma scuds are, they're these little like copiopod, kind of like invertebrate creature. Here's one flying around right there, this little gray thing. They're a lot like shrimp, but my algae plants that just got taken over and I needed to revive them, I would stick them in here and they just escape and keep plants clean like no other. I've got like a mixture of orange and red shrimp going on in here, which is kind of wild because I did see a green in here, so there may be some link there. And then there's also some rare Blanche Creek killifish. Oh, we are going to get to see him. So he's back there in the back glass right there. You can kind of see his tail a little bit. There's a male and a female in there. Wish these tanks didn't have to glare so much, but the price you pay to have an open top. Like, it's hard for me to drop the lights because having the open tops, it makes it so much easier to work. And the reason why this water is low is so those killifish don't jump, because it's not easy to get that kind of killifish. And in this tank, which is actually one of my more favorite tanks because it's really natural with the algae, there's some rare Ameri rainbow fish, which these guys are really cool. Kind of looks like a Herbert axelrodi right now, but when it gets bigger, and if you look close enough, you can see it has more of like a checkered kind of pattern to it. It's really wild looking. And then there's a pair of Corydora sturbi in here. But I love the dirty natural tank. Oh, there's the tail of the sturbi. And that's why, a big reason why this tank is dirty is because those cories sift through that sand all day long and just kick stuff up. And over here in this 20 gallon, I have some Aru pseudomugals rainbow fish again that have been grown out from babies. And eventually I'll have like this tank, and this tank just be 4 Aru 2s. Now this one's empty, but I recently had some alani, some sea alani rainbow fish in here, so there should be some eggs. I'm hoping they'll hatch up, and then I'll have some more of them, and then I'll move on to those, and then I could put Aru 2s in there. So it's all a process. Then here I have some pea puffers and the pink clam that I was trying to get to filter the water to get rid of the green water, and well, they really didn't do that great of a job, to be honest. But these guys are still alive and kicking as far as my clams go. But these clams I got, they all kind of died. I'm not sure what happened, but they make good decor now. And here's one of the little pea puffers. He was in one of the tanks that leaked recently. There's just a ton of Daphnia in this tank, so figured what better place for my pair of pea puffers than a Daphnia filled tank. You can see him eyeballing that big shrimp. I see ya. They are neat, but they're definitely species only kind of fish. And up here in this 75 up top, I have a pair of Herbert Axelrotis, and these were from the strain that Jerry Allen collected a while back. And they're absolutely stunning for Herbert Axelroti. And trying to grow a little farm of Anubias as well, and some guppy grass. But those guys will be moved into Rainbow Row soon, and you guys will be able to see where this rainbow section is I'm creating here later on. And over here I have Bow Mani, which these guys normally have a lot more color, but since I have them on a sand substrate, they are definitely much more pale. Now if they were on a dark substrate, it'd be a whole different story. It's crazy how rainbow fish are and how they will try to blend in with their substrate. Many other fish will do that too. Shrimp as well. With shrimp it can make a big difference. And over in this tank I have some cherry shrimp, bunch of moss or bunch of algae going on, and I have some long fin meteor minnows. Of course they're gonna go get shy now. Oh no, here he comes. They're actually absolutely stunning fish. I got these from Charlie Grimes. Hoping they breed in here with all this algae. I'm giving them a little while. I'm planning, I've already started on the project of adding Eco-Complete to this. This is actually all glass bottom from there. It's just I got these fish, needed somewhere to throw them, figured this was perfect, and so it kind of halted my completion of converting this tank and kind of escaping it more, which I'm going to be doing that with a lot of these tanks. Alright, well that does it for the utility section. And now we can go move on into the garage section. Now into the garage section here, man, this has taken me a lot longer than I thought it would. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning now. I thought I could get done doing water changes in the garage section because this is the day I do it, and I still got to get this video out for you guys, so it's gonna be a long day. But I'm still feeling pretty chipper. So here we are in the garage section, and I've got quite a few tanks in here still to cover. So let's go ahead and start with these. These are all going to be for rainbow fish, and that's what a lot of that Eco-Complete is for. And I've got some experiments I'm going to do with some different lighting, these rhizomats, and it's mostly going to be rainbow fish, and then I'm going to have some guppies or something in the middle breeding to divide different rainbow fish up. So there'll be 3 tanks for a type of rainbow fish. So on here I can do 6 different types of rainbow fish and just have them produce them pretty well. Since I've got a lot of those rare strains, I'd like to make them more readily available for people and have them more available in the hobby to help conserve the line of these beautiful rainbow fish that you don't normally find anywhere. And same with here, 3 tanks for rainbow fish. And these on the bottom, nothing in there yet. They're all cycled up. They're ready, I just gotta mess with them. And in here I've got some Nasuka Gardneri killifish. That's a male, and then you see the females here. There's a few groups of them hanging out in the pearlweed. And then in here I have some sea alani rainbow fish. Now I'm planning on selling these guys to my Patreons. I'm going to let them snag them up. And then this will all just be sea alani. I had an issue. I had to get some killifish when I went to the Killifish Carnival, which I have a video of all that. That was just like a couple weeks ago. And I've got Baclarai killifish in here. Over here in the corner, we can see a male there. They should be asleep. They're kind of like, what's going on right now? Here we have a Gardnerite and Dairy. Kind of hard to see because there's not really a light over this part of the tank. I kind of left it dark. I was thinking about maybe doing some tetras in some of these too, or rasboras or something else along those lines. Then here I have some Millennium Orange Albino Rainbow Fish. These guys are awesome. I've got some of their babies and you will see those soon. And in here there's just one lonely male threadfin rainbow fish. Some reason I lost my female. She got a funky eye for some reason. I don't know if she scratched it on something, got an infection, or what happened. I ended up losing her, which really bites because I really wanted to breed them. So I will probably plan on pursuing that again. And this is a 75, but I can only keep it up to this level. I have it marked because if I put any more water than that in it, it'll leak. And there's a water stain down here. It actually moved a little bit from when the water surface tension was enough just to kind of float it over to the edge. So I do gotta watch this tank. But I actually normally use this for killifish, and it will end up getting killifish in it too. I just had to have somewhere to put him for the meantime. And then down here, I have a bunch of baby fish that came from this tank right here, which I'm going to show you in a second. And more than likely, they're either rainbow fish or barbs. I'm hoping there's a combination, or at least just some barbs in there. Like, these guys are looking different. Like, see how those are wider? I don't know if that's because they're bigger or what, but these are more like the rainbow fish, because these have been growing kind of fast. So I'm really hoping they're these mascara barbs, which I've been trying to get to breed for a long time. They just take time to get to the point to breed. A lot of people who have been following me have been kind of following me on that journey. I use these pom-poms for them to breed on. That's a mascara barb. And then on the other side of that tank, I have a soft water tank here. There's a Ancistrus Placo. This has some Ember Tetras, black neons. They're all being shy right now, of course. Oh, there's the Ember Tetras, super red. Definitely planning on trying to breed those guys out. But this tank needs some love. I'm always battling green water in it for some reason. It even has CO2 on it, which is really weird. I don't get it. It has CO2 on it. I feed it first, but for some reason I just may not have enough fish. I don't know. Has some pygmy cories. There's a few other cories in here too, like a Venezuelan and a panda. Then up here above that, I have a divided tank, which this is definitely not one of my favorite. This is like my least favorite tank, but it is kind of nice to have the divider, so I'm still torn between it. But every time you do a water change, it's got to flow and push the mold and stuff up everywhere. So I'm actually planning on putting these potted plants, these guys up here, these cribs, which would be perfect for doing water changes like that, and then the bottom would just be nice and clean. And I don't know if I may end up replacing it sometime too, because it is still nice to have some glass bottom. So I'm still torn between this tank, let me just say that. Alright, anyways. Now, here are the red Wapanga laser rainbow fish. They're cool fish, stay small, kind of like the dwarf neon. And a Snapper Creek double eye. There's two mystery rainbows. I don't know what those are. I think this may be a Wapanga. Like, they're straight, they just, I don't know where they go. And here we have some dwarf neons. That's these blue ones, and then some ornate rainbow fish. I love these dwarf neons, these blues. And they're actually gonna go into that tank with the mascara barb, which would be this tank with these goldie-eyed Kai, and you'll see why. Then over here I've got a peacock gudgeon, 2 of them. A smaller one from when I raised it up, and I thought I sold them all, and they ended up being hiding in another tank, and then another big one. Probably gonna give those to my club and open that up. And then I got another 5-gallon. That's what this is over on the other side. And as far as all these rainbow tanks, these are all 20-gallon highs. Alright, now on to my double stacked 125 long. So that's a 125 long, that's a 125 long, that's a 40, and then that's a 40. Down here I got a huge chunk of Cophifolia nubius. This is kind of like my community tank, where I've kind of put a hodgepodge, or what I'm not breeding at the moment, in here. What goes in, what goes out. So I've got Dory TI rainbow fish, some emerald turquoise rainbow fish, dwarf neon, some purple hatchet Daño fish. Those guys are really cool. There's the dwarf neon. We've got a pygmy rainbow fish. I got a Raphael cat that lives underneath this log. There's Placos in here. Orange laser Cory cat. There's some Gertrude pseudomugals. Just a whole hodgepodge of fish. Then up here I have my Melanitania goldie-eyed Kai tank and mascara barb tank. Now I am planning on scaping it more, I just haven't had time to really mess with it. I'm wanting to let this crypt grow out, see what that does, and hoping this Bacopa Carolina starts growing up better now that I'm ferting more. You can actually see the difference. It's like I was on my fert schedule, got off my fert schedule, back on my fert schedule. You can just see it within the health of the plants. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I'm hoping I got some babies of these guys. These guys are super rare. They're not real colored up right now, but the older they get too, the more colorful they get. Same with these rainbow fish. Look at that guy. Pretty awesome. Love this tank. It'd be very hard to ever get tired of this tank. Especially when I add those dwarf neons in there, though. Should add a nice little contrast. That smaller blue popping out. I've been thinking about some cherry barbs too. So if I get my cherry barbs breeding out, maybe get some cherry barbs going on. And a lot of issues why this tank's not doing that great. It would do better if I actually had more plants in there. So I do have more of that Bacopa growing in other tanks. I'll eventually start taking from that, and then I just got to move plants around, which I'm going to talk about more in my QT section because I need more plants, more variety. And then up here in this 40-gallon above it, I have some bronze crypt Lintii in some plastic containers and some Dora TI rainbow fish. The males are the real red, and then the females are kind of greenish, and they get even more greenish when they get older. That red can get crazy vibrant. It almost looks like an alien tank, the way that the plants are all wavy, and then with the red, it's like naturally unnatural. Then I got like a backyard terrarium, put together backyard dirt, put some Bacopa in it, and some other stuff from the backyard. And then here is just a huge mass of algae. If you see these tiny little white dots floating here, those are babies to those Millennium Orange Albino Rainbow Fish. And then there's a bunch of cherry red shrimp in here. And both these tanks are also going to end up getting rescaped. So that's part of what that Eco Complete is for too. That's if I have enough, because I got many more other tanks too. And over next to that rack, I have these 20 highs that they're going to be endlers and guppies. So down here I have Starburst endlers, which I'm still female heavy in this tank quite a bit. So I moved a bit of my males over here with just a few females to help balance it over, and then I'll move them over, and this way I can keep the genetics a lot better. I could just scoop over like flop, 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 and that way the gene pool doesn't get too bad. Then up here I have purple Moscow guppies. They were supposed to be these champion purple Moscow guppies, but they ended up being hit by an endler type or something. They started throwing these guys right here. They have like this pastel color to them, and like they have like this purplish like pastel color to them. There you can kind of see it. There's quite a few of them, so it's like a guppy endler hybrid, which is kind of cool, but kind of takes away from the line of these purple Moscow guppies. They are beautiful fish, but I'll probably end up getting something else. We'll see. I don't know. I'm loving this Taiwan lily on top of it too. And then here I have a strain of rainbow tiger endlers. Look at that, the females are even starting to show some color. These are more kind of geared towards the flame tail, but then the rainbowness just came out too much and I couldn't stay up on top of it. And I'm going to redo this tank, and it will end up being rainbow tiger endler. So I'm going to consolidate the ones in my main fish room into here. And over here on this rack I have 20 longs and 29 talls. Up here I have some rare Cali rum melanitania species. So they come from Cali rum. They don't really have a specific name yet. I don't even know if anybody else is keeping them in the US right now. I got them from Gary Lang, and I don't know if he's still holding his or not. I asked him about it, but he never said anything back about it. And then here I have some Procatopus similis. Of course, they just shied out as I'm coming through here. Absolutely beautiful Tanganique and Keeley fish. I'm getting ready to move them into this 125 high aquarium upstairs, just so I could breed them, because I got a bunch of rocks in there and it's like the perfect environment for them to breed in. And they like large groups, so I'd like to get a much bigger school of them. I should bring out the colors more too. And then this tank is empty for the meantime. And over here I have some dwarf neon rainbow fish, and all these 20s on this side will probably end up being for dwarf neon rainbow fish once I get things organized. We'll see. I may end up doing something else because I am breeding a lot of these guys right now already. And then in here I have some upper tour rainbow fish. Now these guys are awesome. Being completely skittish right now. Being back here in the corner doesn't help much, and way past their bedtime. But these fish are absolutely stunning. You saw them in that main office tank briefly. But this whole row is to breed those. There's none of them in here right now, so this is all going to be rescaped them and put substrate in here and redo all these. But I do have babies. This will be the last one I redo because I've got babies in here of the upper tours. You can see them all above there. Quite a few of them. But yeah, I'm trying to get rid of most of my glass bottoms and just do substrate and planting because I'm just kind of wasting space without planting them. That, and I got the collectoritis with plants too. Alright, now moving on over to my soft water rack. And I've had this rack for a while. I've had to remod it once because I only built it with one rail going that way, and it wasn't enough. It was starting to flex, so I had to take it all down and double it back up. And I still forgot another mod. I ended up changing the configuration on this, so I've got to add one more board before I can unlock this level up here. But I use a lot of this. These are all 10s, and this is a 75, and that's a 16, I believe. So this one's kind of dingy still. I don't know why, it's always giving me problems. But this Hygrophila augustifolia is growing up and out of it nicely. I'm trying to combat the algae and everything else. I'm going to end up putting some shrimp in here. There's already some in here. I may do like a Skrittles tank. See, there's a Placo. I put a Placo in there, Ancistrus, bristlenose. Actually, a ton of CPDs. You kind of see them back there by the sponge filter. I'd point at them, but then they'd all freak out again. But they've been loving the rocks too. I was hoping when the shrimp colonize in there, maybe we can watch them actually colonize and how they do it. I kind of kept it going, the theme with the tank next to it. So it kind of looks like it blends in together. But this is pretty much going to house CPDs and other like tetras and other things I decide to breed down the road. Which these tanks can always change up, because with my water system, I could turn any tank to a hard or soft water tank instantly. And I've actually done it before where I've switched the whole fish room and I didn't lose anything. A lot of people say don't do that. They say don't put your RO in it. I do a lot of things unorthodox. If you watch my channel, you guys will get more input on that and kind of how I do things. And here I have a 5-gallon with some baby blue Gularis. They're always hanging out up top. And in this 10-gallon, I have some babies from that Melanitania Goldii Decay tank and the Mascara Barb tank. They are still itty bitty fry. You can barely see them darting in the very back. Kind of see them right there. This tank's getting rebooted. I got this Carib Sea. It's black sand, kind of like blasting sand. I don't know if it's the same, but whatever was in it, it was always giving me trouble. I tried it in 3 different tanks. It was always giving me trouble. Growing this nasty algae stuff. I'd grow cyno in it. I don't know what it is about that, but I'm more than likely going to change that. I was thinking about doing a leaf litter tank. Then over here, I've got a breeding group, like whole group of CPDs, because I used to have the other group in this tank, but I had to combine them, and now I have a huge group. But they're still throwing eggs. I'm getting eggs. I'm starting to be able to collect them again. And here, hiding in all this Anubias, are some of the CPDs I have raised up that actually need to go down here. And I'm going to start tying everything to wood and rocks so I can just pull them out instead of having to unplant these guys. It'll make it easier for me to catch the fish I raise. Because the thing with a lot of these scapes, I got to make it functionable with trying to support the hobby, the aquariums, and feed all these guys. And then here's some more babies from the Goldii Decay Mascara Barb tank. Another 10. And then I don't have anything down here yet. Probably end up doing guppies or endlers down here and have like a group. So I always like to have 2 tanks for each type of endler or guppy. That way I can always work on them genes. And same with that one, that's empty. And then down here I have some dwarf neon rainbow fish. Now dwarf neon rainbow fish, they're colony breeders. They're over here, they're super skittish too, because I mean, they're down here in like the most unseen area and tank in the fish room. They're darting around everywhere. So there are babies in here. There's one floating there. They're just really tiny. I just recently set this up for them. There's plenty of coverage. They should colony breed pretty well in here with all this guppy grass. Then over here in this tent I have some more CPDs, a few that I wasn't able to catch out of here that need to go into the 75 down below. And here I've got a couple Placos, a pair of Placos. I think they're 333s, L333s. Got them from Eric Bodrock a while back. They're pretty cool, but they're always hidden up in this log. And then this one's empty. It's open for some kind of breeding. This one's getting redone. This is my blue Gularis pair. There's the big daddy blue Gularis. Come on out and say hi. Quit curling up. The female, she's all up underneath the spawning mop. But his trident is nice. Very nice. Come on, buddy. Corner. They've been in this tank for quite some time breeding. Oh, there he goes. He's moving a little bit. But man, look at that back tail on him, that trident. It's got some size on him too, color. I tried to breed for the finnage and color. Oh, there he is. Came out to say hi. Alright, what's up, big guy? This is one of my favorite all-time fish in the hobby. If we're not careful, if we don't have more people breeding these, we'll end up losing them. Such a beautiful fish. It's a blue Gularis killifish. Alright, so that does it for the garage section. Now, we gotta move upstairs. And here we are in the upstairs section, which is full of my son's toys because I actually watch him throughout the day. Stay-at-home dad, that's my first job. And I do this stuff at night. And over here I have the Aquascape tank from Fluval's Aquascaping Live 2017 at the Aquatic Experience this last year up in Chicago. Which this isn't quite what it looked like then. I did add a little more driftwood and just did it a little differently. But I do got a video on that and bringing it back and setting it back up, and it was a real pain in the butt, I can tell you that much. And I have some chili rasboras in here, 4 of them. I'm hoping they're going to breed out in here since there's so many cracks and crevices and caves, mini pelia, and all kinds of places to lay babies. And it does have crystal red shrimp in it as well. There's a couple in that tunnel. It's just kind of dark and hard to see in there. Another one hanging out. And over here I have the quarantine rack, the QT rack. And it's in a good spot. It's away from all my other fish room, big main areas. That way nothing can disperse through the air. Besides like this one Aquascape tank, but that's got a long way to travel to get over there. And these are all 20 highs. And currently in this first one on the bottom, I have a bunch of Synodontis lucipennis. They're like way back in the back corner, so it's kind of hard to get a good shot of them. They're going to go into that 75 with the rest of them. And over here on the other side, I have a tank full of Ancestris Placos that I got from Charlie Grimes. I'm going to disperse them all around the fish room as needed. See them all over these leaves. And over here I have a bunch of Ember Tetras, some Rummy Nose, and I'm not sure what this other Tetra is. I think it's a Paraguay Tetra. Or Diamond-tailed Tetra. A couple came in with the Rummy Nose. They were supposed to be Rummy Nose. They weren't. And all these fish are about ready to come out of QT right now. And here's some Glow Light Tetras. And a black neon. And then I've got some silver tip tetras where I've actually seen eggs of these guys in here already. Most of them are hiding in this moss. They're being a little scared. Besides this one. He must be the daddy, big daddy of them all. And over here we have the Carai tetra. These things are cool. And then hanging out with them, there's a glass cat. There's also a bunch more glass cats back in the back, but they're spooked. A couple of these two, though, they don't care. I like that. These glass cats are one of my all-time favorite fish, too, in the hobby. So hard for me to pick a favorite. And up here I have a sickly ornate that just has had issues, and I've never been able to do anything for her. I've tried all kinds of stuff and nothing's worked yet. And over here I've got some cherry barbs. These are looking really good. The males have great coloration on them, and a good mix between males and females, which is nice. And over in this tank, I have some blue gularis, some small blue gularis raising up. And in this tank, I've got a squad of autos back in the back, which I bought 100 of them, and I like split them 50-50 here. None of them made it in this tank, and then like maybe 20 or so survived in this one out of 100. Something with those autos, getting them in. I don't know if it's because they got sharp mouths and they cut each other, and they get bacterial infections so easily going through the wholesalers when you buy them in bulk, especially like that. It's almost best to grab them like little by little as you're going through the store. And here's just some fish that have gotten into the barrel, my discharge barrel, and I like to quarantine them before I put them back to where they belong. Alright, so that does it for this part of the upstairs. I've got one more tank up here. And here we have the master bedroom tank. This is a 125 high with a Balinese crypt. It gets huge. Currently, there's a ton of babies in here. You can see them swimming all over the top. They're all turquoise rainbow babies. I've already pulled probably about 50 or so out of here. And once I get these babies out of here, I'm either going to put my mascara barbs in here, because they'll really like the height of the tank, or I'm going to put I'm leaning towards my Procatopus similis, because I really want to breed them out. I just don't know if they'll colony breed in there, but I do know they'll breed out in these rocks, and it's pretty much the best environment for them to breed on. And I want a lot more of those because they like group. Alright, so that does it for the master bedroom tank. And one more section, and that's the outdoor section. We be tubbing. We be tubbing. Alright, here we are. Last but not least, it's actually the next day since I started this video. You guys saw me begin it. The outro is actually before this. So this is the next day. I still haven't slept. I'm doing the editing. This is my outdoor heated year-round pond system. There's 2,000 watts of heat, so there's 500 watts in 4 containers here, and then another 4 500 watt heaters in this. And I haven't done a water change in it all winter long. It just kind of keeps cycling itself. Has grown a lot of algae. As you can see, there's a bunch of fish swimming around. Those are mostly, those should all be dwarf neon rainbow fish. And there should be some orange shrimp in here too. I can't wait to get in here and actually see how many's in there, because I was colony breeding them. And in here we have red Waponga laser. You can see them darting. There's just a pair in there. I was hoping they'd colony breed, but they really haven't done much for me out here. So I'm definitely going to switch them up when it gets warmer. I think they're getting fed right now. And I do have a playlist about how I put this together. It was before YouTube. And in here I've got a bunch of either Bowman Eye or Cali Rum. I got to take them out to really see which ones they are. I can't remember which ones I put in there. But yeah, I have a playlist of this that talks about a lot more about it. And then here I have some golden white cloud minnows. These are like the breeding trays I use. There you see a couple darting around down there. That's the breeding group. And in here are some of their babies from when they spawned them out right before winter hit. And some long-fin, bluefin danios in there as well with them. And eventually one day I want to take care of this pond back here. I've got a drainage. I want to end up doing some kind of pond. I just don't have the money to put into it yet. And the ponds on the deck have a huge sump that I run during the summertime. I don't really run it in the wintertime just because it's a lot easier. So there's actually no airline in there or anything. There's no water movement. It's just fish and plants. And up here I want to build a concrete platform and move these down there because it's kind of taking its toll on the deck, and I got to restain it. So I'm probably going to have to move those sooner than later. But I want to have a concrete platform there, and then kind of have like a tubbing operation down there, and then have like a chill fire pit spot right here, so maybe one day I can relax. Just kind of have it stepped, another concrete, little stone wall. It'll wrap around and just kind of go down to the pond. And I want this pond to have like flat rock that comes up here. Then next to the deck have another small pond in this spot, so it constantly pumps water up and flows back down. Same with over here in this pond. I want a couple pumps on each side of that, so there's a couple waterfalls coming down each side. But that's another dream for another day. I got a long way to get till I get there. Alright, so that does it for this fish room tour. I hope you guys enjoyed and may have learned something. It's been another all-nighter for me, but I really wanted to share this with you guys before I take it to the next phase and next level. And caught the sun again. Not often I get to see the sunrise, so I had to come out here and do that, even though it's freezing. There's frost and everything out here. But it's still nice. Birds are chirping. You gotta love Mother Nature. I gotta get back in here. But I hope you guys like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, because there's a lot of stuff coming up. Upgrades, new fish coming in all the time, new shrimp. Same with new creations, all kinds of stuff. But anyways, till next time, everybody. Love and peace.